But I've got to say, in terms of emails and stuff like that, people seem to want to see this. They seem to want to. They like the idea of this, and it makes me think like, blimey, we have made nothing in the last couple of years. Like, why don't we want to see Roman against Goldberg or something like that? And is it, I don't know. It just seems like a big match, but between, like you say, Matt, two guys from the 90s. But even then we might have thought, is it appropriate? But yeah, it's happening. And of course, not only that, Matt, it's happening in Saudi Arabia, which of course is always going to be controversial at the minute. I know we spoke about that a lot last year. And again, whether this, I'm sure they will not be talking about it too much on Raw and SmackDown, because every time they did, it would be booed by the live crowd. So I think they're going to keep this as low key as possible, as they possibly can. But when you announce a match like this, it's going to be tough to. Matt, I mean, we'll no doubt watch it. There's no doubt about it, because it's going to intrigue us as always. But politics and all the rest of it, Matt. I mean, still no females as yet will be there. Do you think that is something that can you see that happening, or do you think that's just a bit of a pipe dream and it's not going to happen? I mean, if we get to that, we might say actually there was some progress made, like there was a reason WWE were doing this crap. But in other ways, man, it seems very, very like they're just using the WWE for good PR, and they're trying to say, they're helping us. We're going to westernise it a little bit more. We're going to have women drivers. Now, when they aired those commercials last year, they got switched off. They got turned off the channels. They took them off the air, and then they were made to apologise. So it's very, very challenging where, 1 minute WWE, they're sort of Make-A-Wish, they're fantastic with charities, women's rights, all the rest of it. And then all of a sudden, Matt, they go and do these trips to Saudi Arabia, which never comes back with great PR at all. But it does make the buck. And I think ultimately, Matt, that is why they do this. I mean, I know they'll probably say, no, it's not, blah, blah, blah. But you can't tell me, Matt, that getting that kind of money, there isn't some sort of huge influence there. And not only that, they seem to sort of book whatever this guy wants. I mean, this is why we've probably got Goldberg and Undertaker, is it not?
Yeah, I guess so. I think as regards to the women, though, you just got to keep pursuing it. You can't give up on it. You can't just say, like, oh, it's never going to happen. I feel like in nearly every country around the world, there was a point when it looked like it was never going to happen and it wasn't going to be fair to the women. But, eventually it does come around. And you've got to hope that, the world is a progressive place and it's moving together, and everyone's pursuing the same kind of goals, and eventually maybe we'll all end up in the same place. You just got to keep going with it. And as far as this Undertaker and Goldberg thing, we said like there's a people out there want it's kind of like a guilty pleasure, maybe. I'd assume that too. Like some people can eat the fanciest steaks and drink the best wine, and then one day they're like, you know what, I fancy a McDonald's.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. And another 50-man battle royal. Again, I wonder what other matches we're going to get. Particularly, I'm intrigued to see what they'll do with Brock, what they have lined up for him as well, and a lot of the other talent, because depending on where they're placed on the card, it depends what the payday is going to be like for those guys as well. So they're going to want to part that. Randy Orton, Matt, I mean, he must be quite pleased with that match with Triple H.
Yeah. It's very good to be Triple H's friend.
Yeah, get him in. I'm surprised Dave Bautista hasn't come out of retirement as well, like Goldberg, Matt, all of a month, and said, give me what I want again, but this time in Saudi Arabia.
He's probably wishing he rethought his decision a few months ago.
I wonder if that
out a few more months.
Yeah, maybe that match should have taken place in this venue. That would have probably been better for me.
I think it would have been better received.
Yeah. But there you go. That's what we got. I mean, we'll obviously have more on that as we come. It'll be interesting to see what WWE do, whether they promote it at all. I very, very doubt it. I purely believe they should have these shows with as little promotion as possible for their own sake, and just have the shows as standalone shows. The problem I've always said with these shows is that they defend titles on them and they become part of the storyline. But what they should be is glorified house shows. They should do them like that. And if you want to watch it on the network, you can. If you don't, you don't. But I think the moment you start putting it down people's throats and given what's happening out there and happened in the past, then you tread a very dangerous line, and not going to get good PR from that, especially with that taking the women there at a time when they've just had main event of female wrestlers, arguably their biggest star, Becky Lynch. She's not going to be there. So, there's problems with that. And also now we're hearing that there won't be an all-female pay-per-view this year. So it's always going to raise those questions, unfortunately. So they need to kind of just keep it on the down low, I would say, at this point. But we'll see how that goes. Moving on to that. But yes. Matt, talking about good stuff, and one of our great sponsors, new to the podcast, of course, Harry's Razors. And I've got to say, it's a great time to be a supporter of Harry in general, because Harry Kane, we're hoping, Matt, as Tottenham fans, as we are, is going to make it for the Champions League football. I know we touched on it earlier, and I don't always do this on the podcast, because I don't always like bringing my own personal joys into this, but I'm going to this time, because for the first time, Matt, we're both Tottenham fans, soccer, football, whatever it's called in your native place. But for the first time, we're in the Champions League final, Matt. We're up against Liverpool. We've got there by the most last seconds, not even minutes, in the last couple of games. And so it's happening on the 1st of June. And Harry Kane, from where the Razors come from, I'm hoping he's going to be back for it. I mean, the way he sprinted on at the end of that game, Matt, I've got to say, he's got to be almost ready, I'm hoping. But if you want a great deal, if you want a great razor and a great product, then look no further than harrys.com. Just go on there. Really, really simple. And this is the great thing about this product. I've had a few batches already sent to me. Comes nice and easy, very well packaged. Even sometimes they will even give you a little free gift as well, which is always a bonus. You get like a mystery item, they call it, thrown into your box. But it's as simple as this, and it's great because there's no sort of like you have to sign up for 6 months, 8 months. No, you just cancel. If you're not happy with it, you just cancel it. No bother. Or if there's too many razors coming and you don't need as many, or you're growing a beard like I do sometimes, guess what? You can change and adapt the plan as it's happening. So as it's active, you might think, I don't need as many coming, 3 months' time. So you can just put less on, or you might need, more cream and stuff like that. You can do that. It's so good with, customization. Like I say all the time, you can choose, you even to the smallest detail, like the colour of your razor. There's some good ones on there at the moment. There's a couple more limited edition ones now as well because of the Champions League finals. So if you are a Spurs fan, you're going to probably want that. But if you're not a Spurs fan, if you're not even a football fan, I'm telling you, guys out there, you need to get one of these razors. It can be a hassle sometimes going into my shops because sometimes they only sell the only certain brands and you're kind of forced hand into buying them all the time. With this, you don't have to worry about going to the shops. This is always going to turn up on your doorstep when you need it, and that's the great thing about it. I've been using it now for a good month. It's a really good service, and like I say, you can just log into your account and you can just play about and customize exactly what you want each month. And sometimes, like I said, they'll throw in a mystery item, so it's always a good thing. So guys, check that out, and don't forget, if you do go on to that, when it says to you at the end, it will say, and we've got some great feedback from this already, but so I want to thank the guys that, from our listeners that have done that. You've helped the podcast out a lot, but continue to do that. Just type in wrestling or wrestle or even wrestle line when it tells you where you heard it from, and you can use it as promo codes as well that we've got. So yeah, literally harrys.com, go on there, check it out and have a good look for that. So yes, moving on, Matt, past all that and the excitement of football coming up, but Also, something I checked out, and I've thrown this in because I literally watched this like about an hour before the podcast went up tonight, and I forgot that it was available because it became available after Raw last night. But it's called The Holy Grail, and this is something that's been going around for about 35 years, Matt, believe it or not. I mean, it's so infamous amongst tape traders back in the day, in the 90s. Have they got this video? The tape was never found. Did WWE destroy it? The myth, the legend. Some people had spoke about it, even reviewed it, claiming that they'd seen it, blah, blah, blah. But it was a match, basically, that took place between Bret Hart way back when, during the 80s, against a guy that probably not many people, unless you know about this tape business, would have even heard of, and that was Tom Magee, who was basically penciled in as the next, and I'm not just talking about big guy, but the next Hulk Hogan. It's a great little documentary here. It's half an hour. It's really quite small. But I've got to say, it was a very big eye-opener to me. So I really, really recommend everybody go check that out. It's got Brett's on there. You got Sean Waterman talking about it as well. And even Davey Boy Smith Jr., Tyson Kidd's on there as well. All talking about this guy. And what happened to the tape, where it was found. I mean, ridiculous the way they managed to get hold of it in the end, I've got to say. It was by pure luck, no doubt about it. Matt, have you had any chance of seeing this yet, or is this something you're going to be checking out?
I haven't yet, but I definitely will check it out. I mean, who doesn't want to see this myth? Or now it's become a reality. When something's got that kind of tag associated to it in wrestling, you got to go check it out.
Yes, please do, because I think it's something you'd be quite astonished. The look of this guy and what he could do in the ring, especially at that time. You could definitely see, but quite fascinating to see where it all went, and they do talk about, not just they do air the match in full at the end of it, but it's like it's very interesting to see whatever happened to the tape and what happened to him, because he signed like without giving too many spoilers here, because I'd rather people watch it, but he signed a 4-year contract and he never worked a TV match, and so they kind of talk about that in it, and it's quite interesting. And I've got a feeling now this has become quite a big thing all of a sudden, that it's been found and all the rest of it. I've got a feeling there'll be a lot more to this. I do think this is sort of the thing that fans like us are quite interested in, so there might be more coming up, so watch that space. Okay, Matt, let's move away from the WWE now and of all their problems and not problems that they got. But of course, AEW, Matt, All Elite Wrestling. It was a myth at one point, Matt, and we were thinking, is this just another global false wrestling Jeff Jarrett type thing? And is it legit? I think WWE were thinking, well, they haven't had a show yet. Then you see Tony Khan is the owner. Then you see Kenny Omega's been signed. The Young Bucks are there. They didn't sign WWE contracts. They've signed a real variety of talent on somewhat exclusive contracts just to them. They've got Pentagon there. They've got Pac. They've got talent. Recently, of course, they acquired Goldust, Dusty Rhodes. He's there now as well. They've made matches. We've got Double or Nothing coming up, Matt. And of course the big talk has been, well, we won't take much notice of them because they keep talking about a TV deal, but they ain't got one. But now, Matt, it seems like they have got a deal, and it's going to be announced very, very shortly. In fact, next week. So this is the some of the news that's been coming out. The claim is that AEW's TV show will begin airing later this year. In the fall or autumn months on TNT. A very familiar name, I'm guessing, for you there, Matt. TNT, that's the Turner Network Television. Of course, for us older fans, we will all remember WCW, of course. That's what it says here. It's where fans will recall from WCW's Monday Night Nitro that aired on TNT. Now, this partnership to be announced 1 hour before Warner